like to welcome everybody here this evening for meeting number 490 of Grand Falls-Windsor Town Council. Before we get into our formal order of business tonight, we do have some special guests with us. And there's a very special month. The month of March is Nutrition Month. And we got the representatives from the Dietitians of Canada, along with some of their family, are going to come up front. Morning, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Come on in, guys, so we can get everybody in camera range and microphone range. So, I guess, Deidre, if you don't mind, I'll ask you to maybe touch on the theme of Nutrition Month.
Sure, I'd love to. This year, it is Unlock the Potential of Food. And we've got a couple of different variations on that theme, but it's all about discovering in the kitchen, getting the kids in the kitchen, discovering the health potential of foods. So we're really encouraging anybody who's interested in food, which is most of us, to go on the Dietitians of Canada website and just check out a few of the recipes they have there this year. It's really nice ideas to experiment in your kitchen.
Yeah, it must be different, I guess, these days, too, with the science around nutrition and how important it is these days, you know, and the links to disease and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Depending on what you put in. So I guess, you know, locally here in Grand Falls-Windsor, we have resources for people as well, right, if they want to avail.
Absolutely.
And, you know, everybody should be looking to March as Nutrition Month in Grand Falls-Windsor. And we're going to sign the proclamation now, so I'll ask one of your representatives if you wouldn't mind taking the chair here and sign the form, and then I'll sign as well and make it official.
Okay, great.
Whoever is ready to do it, here we go. Now, you want to sit in the chair?
You want to sit with me? Okay. I'm going to put your name.
Yeah.
Mayor Manuel signs.
I'll do this now. We could probably gather in around if we want, and we'll want to give a picture. You see everybody there? Good. Make it official.
Great.
Thank you guys very much for coming in. It's a pleasure to see you. Hannah, back again. Not collecting any checks this time. Hannah was one of the winners there a while ago for the Halloween decorating contest. Is that right? Yeah. So you know, we can't give you any checks tonight, but decorate again next year, and we'll have you back again. How's that? Thanks, guys, for coming in. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Pleasure. Good to see you again, Hannah. John, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And thank you. No handshake. No? That's cool. That's all right. You can leave me hanging. I'm all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, Nutrition Month. And we also have some more special guests that I'll ask to come up front. We've got a new family who moved to Grand Falls-Windsor, I guess about 3 months ago now, in early December. I was one of the people along with the local committee who traveled to Gander and welcomed the family when they arrived at the airport just a few months ago. So we're going to ask Saad and family if you guys would come up front, and the committee as well. If the representatives from the committee would come up as well, it would be great. Saad, good to see you.
Me too, thanks.
Come on in, guys, so we can see. So this is one of our newest families to Grand Falls-Windsor. How are you settling in?
Okay.
Yeah. How's the snow? Like, that's what we have to ask you.
It's okay, but it's, you know, warm period.
Yeah, right. Don't we know? And this has been a pretty, I guess, easy winter, and you've heard that, I'm sure.
We're lucky.
We're used to having more snow than this even, right? So you guys, if you don't mind, I'll get you to say your names, or you could, Saad.
Yeah, my name is Saad, and my daughter is Aya. My wife, Rana. My son, Muhammad. And my little princess, Hala.
Yes.
Hala.
Hello.
Hala, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very funny.
Did she? Oh, apparently I just, the guy was not getting anything, high fives tonight, right? So you guys are all settled in school? Yeah, you're going to EDI, right? So how do you enjoy school? A little different for you? Different?
Yeah.
You, yeah? You're learning your English?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? And how about the teachers? Are they treating you good up there? Yeah.
The teacher, they're very happy. They are adjusting so fast.
Good.
Yeah.
It's funny, hey, how
Yeah.
sometimes kids can adjust very, very
Yeah.
quickly. And that's good to hear because we're happy that you're here with us and we hope you continue to get adjusted.
I'm very glad to be a part of this community.
Good.
I'm very happy.
Well, we're happy to have you, and I should mention as well, as you know, Saad, we've got some members of the committee here with us tonight, and those people who didn't come up, but are very instrumental really in,
Yes, very
you know, all the
All
arrangements.
the people here, very friendly and very kind.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. And you've got your place set away up there, and
Yes.
yeah, that's good.
Everything is okay.
And we got a little something for you. I'm not sure exactly what's in the bags here. I won't empty both bags or anything. We got some what we call bling.
Cash.
Yeah, it's bags of cash. So we got some hats. Still not too late. And there's some T-shirts and baseball caps and other things in there, all town of Falls-Windsor.
Thank you very much.
So we're happy to give you those.
Thanks.
And you guys can take those with you. And
Thanks a lot.
we're waiting on some more bling, so in a couple of months you're going to come back and we'll be able to hook you up again. I may get a high five then too. Eh? Well, thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you very much.
Get a picture,
We
Gary.
appreciate it. We appreciate it.
And we
Thanks a
hope,
lot.
you know where to find us. Obviously, if you ever need anything, don't
Sure,
hesitate.
sure.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
very much. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, I just noticed that nice microphone there. That was probably put there for something. Oh, my. Well. Okay. Yeah, the folks are going to file out, so we'll give them a moment to leave, and then we'll get started with the tonight's meeting. I'm 0 for 2 on high fives. Careful. I might be reaching out.
Like I said, this election, you can be paranoid.
Yes, hey. Good to see that they're settling in for sure. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, so before we get into the formal meeting tonight, we do, as advertised, we've got a couple of our new town promotional videos that we're going to show tonight. So before we get into formal business, we'll throw it to our first video. Enjoy.
My name is Trevor Tuck. I'm a beekeeper and owner of Tuck's Bee Better Farm. So we're a honeybee farm that we produce honeybee products. We do pollination services for berry farms, and we also then do some educational things and likewise for school groups and different organizations that want to learn about bees.
My name is Dan Penny, and I'm in the car business. I'm a car dealer. So originally I purchased a plot of land on the corner of Cromer and the Trans-Canada Highway for the car dealership. Then realized there was a large parcel of land behind that building. It seemed like a good opportunity to do a relatively small-scale commercial development. It's a 16-acre development, and we have 7 lots, varying sizes, that we're now developing into a small business park. And we're well along the way with that now.
People are becoming more aware of that, more food conscious. They want to buy healthy, buy local. By working together, they're supporting local farmers. I can ensure that they're going to get a good price for their berries. We work together. They need my bees. I need their berries. We produce products then that become in demand both here locally, provincially, nationally, and internationally. We've had inquiries from all over. So by being able to work together, we're able to grow the economy here for central Newfoundland, for Newfoundland as a whole.
The town is very pleasant to deal with, very professional, efficient. They respond quickly. They're pro-business, pro-development. And the town is such a lovely town as well. And when you add together the geographic convenience of Grand Falls-Windsor with the amenities in healthcare and education and so on, it's just a hub of activity, a beehive of activity, and it's quite impressive.
The town has been super supportive. You know, they've been very encouraging and yeah, been very helpful with the advancement of the business and helping out like with you know, land and yeah, anything that's been basically that I've asked, they've really been on board with this. I guess they see the importance of the honeybees. You know, they understand that worldwide need for it, the unique situation we have here and the opportunity.
It's perfectly centered because from Grand Falls-Windsor you can drive to Corner Brook in less than 3 hours. You can drive to St. John's in 4.5 hours. It's so convenient.
Like the bees, we're all starting to work together for the better of the community as a whole. Us as individuals, our ability to accomplish something may be quite small, but working together, we're able to do some really large things.
Okay, welcome back to our meeting tonight. Is meeting number 490. As I mentioned earlier, I'll call the meeting to order. The first order of business is the adoption of the minutes from meeting number 489. Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, I look for a mover and a seconder. Deputy Mayor Brown, seconded by Councillor Whiffen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Any business arising out of the minutes? No business arising. We'll move into the disbursement report. Councillor Cody Davis.
Mayor Manuel, I move the disbursement report for February 22nd, 2018 in the amount of $946,414.14.
Moved by Councillor Cody Davis, seconded by Councillor Bennett. Any discussion on the disbursement report? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Committee reports, Economic Development, Tourism and Heritage. Councillor Whiffen.
Okay, the Economic Development, Tourism and Heritage Committee met at 5 p.m. on Monday, February 19, 2018. Present at the meeting were myself, members Sean Feener, Rod Bennett, Mayor Barry Emanuel, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, Councillor Amy Cody Davis, staff Jeff Saunders, Gary Hennessy, and Stan Singh. The first item, we reviewed the minutes of the A&D company. So the Economic Development Officer presented the minutes of the February 7th meeting, and the minutes were accepted as presented. We reviewed the promotional video launch. The Economic Development Officer presented the final 2 promotional videos completed recently by Up Sky Down Films. The business video will be shown at the beginning of the next council meeting on Rogers TV, and the quality of life video will be shown at the end of the meeting via Rogers TV. Both videos will be then available online on our website and social media forums. The video will also be used at upcoming trade shows and special events. The trade show booth templates, the Economic Development Officer presented 3 drafts of the new tourism background to formulate the trade show booth. Council reviewed each and made their selection. The Economic Development Officer will place the order for the background and use it at 2 upcoming tourism trade shows in Mount Pearl and Halifax in April. Airbnb regulations. The committee reviewed a draft new regulation pertaining to short-term residential rentals, or Airbnb, most commonly known as. Staff have been researching similar regulations and communicating with the province on their accommodation regulations. Council made several recommendations, and staff will continue to fine-tune draft regulations. Mobile vendor regulations. The committee reviewed the current regulation and suggested that staff prepare an aerial map of the town identifying current food businesses. Staff will bring back the information to council for further discussion at the next committee meeting. Learning the Ropes program press event. This is a 6-week program to slow down the signs of early cognitive impairment. This program was funded by the town of Grand Falls-Windsor and delivered by Central Health. Adult Care Center Needs Assessment. The consultant has been hired and the needs assessment process has started. Genomics Innovation Funding. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor, through the Excite Corporation, has received $785,282 in funding to implement research. 4 positions have been created in this program. Youth Mental Health Services Primary Care Initiative. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor supports the funding application submitted by Central Health to the Department of Health and Community Service. The total funding request is $253,750. Meals on Wheels. The Meals on Wheels pilot has been completed. The pilot was successful, and Meals on Wheels Grand Falls-Windsor organization are planning on implementing a full program for the fall of 2018. Dragon's Den style program. The town is investigating the details of a Dragon's Den style program in Grand Falls-Windsor to highlight entrepreneurship in the community. And in other business, the Chamber of Commerce Business Awards sponsorship request. The committee reviewed the email from the Chamber of Commerce and recommended council sponsor the business awards this year for $500. The mayor will bring greetings at the awards banquet as well. The meeting adjourned at 6:50 p.m. and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Whiffen. Second by Councillor Cody Davis. Any discussion on the Economic Development, Tourism and Heritage minutes? I guess just one comment as reading through the minutes, Councillor Whiffen, was dawned on me in light of the Central Health review that has been announced and we know is going to occur soon. And I guess people have heard us talk about our partnerships with Central Health. And I'm sure there'll be more discussion on that particular issue before this meeting's over. But if you want to look for examples of how we have been partnering with Central Health in a number of areas, you just look at the things that are minuted in that set of minutes, including the Learning the Ropes program, which is done in partnership with Central Health. The Adult Care Central Needs Assessment is done in partnership with Central Health. The genomics, of course, has been done as well with partnership from Central Health. The Youth Mental Health Services, again, a joint effort between Council and Central Health. And then the Meals on Wheels program, which of course is delivered by a committee, but the meals are prepared at the Central Health kitchen facility. So, you know, lots of good examples of how the town of Grand Falls-Windsor and Central Health have been working together well to be able to tackle some of these initiatives and making some good progress. I just thought it was worth pointing out. Any other comments? Deputy Mayor Brown.
I just want to speak, Mr. Mayor, about the Dragon's Den style program Councillor Whiffen referred to in his minutes. The town is investigating a possibility that we would have a contest, a Dragon's Den style contest, where residents of the town would present their ideas to start a new business. So actually I had a meeting with our business development officer today, Mr. Singh, and we're investigating, we're into the next stage where we'll investigate funding. For example, if the winner would receive a probably 2 years rent fee in a building, some free advertising. We're hoping to connect with some financial institutions in town to help them support this initiative as well. So that's what that's all about. Of course, none of it is possible without the funding, but we're in the process of looking for the funding and hope to make an announcement on that Dragon's Den style program sooner than later, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
And hopefully everything works out with that. Any other comments, discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, we have a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Public Works and Planning, Councillor Brown, or sorry, Deputy Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works and Planning met on 6 p.m. Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. Those were in attendance were myself as chair, Councillor Darren Finn, Councillor Amy Cody Davis, Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Rod Bennett, Councillor Sean Feener, Councillor Mark Whiffen. Town staff included Jeff Sanders, our town manager clerk, Nelson Chapman, our Director of Engineering and Works, Chad Glendenning, our Assistant Director of Engineering and Works, and Russ Tebow, our Municipal Police Chief, was at the meeting from 6 to 7. First order of business, Mr. Mayor, was a noise complaint with respect to a modified exhaust. The committee reviewed a noise complaint submitted by Mr. John Bailey concerning a loud muffler on his neighbor's truck. Police Chief Tebow provided details of the complaint and noted the truck had been checked by the RCMP and 6 inspections by highway enforcement officers with the Motor Registration Division. The investigation found Mr. Bennett's truck to be legal and without defects. The committee recommends the complaint file to be closed as no violation was detected. Gas tax. The committee reviewed the proposed gas tax allocation for the remaining funding. Staff proposed the funding be allocated for paving projects and the upgrades to the exterior of the Public Works Depot on Bailey Street. The committee recommends the capital investment plan be amended to include the allocation of gas tax funds for projects as presented and submit to the Gas Tax Secretariat for approval. Rezoning request, 46 Earl Street. The committee discussed the rezoning request submitted for 46 Earl Street from public use, PU, to multi-unit residential, RM1, which was first advertised on July 18, 2017. Originally, there were several objections received, but after residents discussed with Mr. Carl Bullard, their concerns were alleviated. A second notice was advertised in the local newspaper, and no objections were received. The committee recommends that staff continue with the rezoning process if the applicant wants to proceed. Rezoning request 83 King Street. The committee reviewed the rezoning request for 83 King Street from commercial neighborhood, CN, to low and medium density multi-unit residential, RM1. A notice was advertised in the local newspaper and no objections were received. The committee recommends that staff continue with the rezoning process if the applicant wants to proceed. Bartle Place development. The committee reviewed the proposed development at Bartle Place submitted by AAA Investments Limited. This proposal is for 3 4-unit dwellings. 2 buildings would face Bartle Place and the other would face the proposed new access road from the cul-de-sac. The committee recommends this be improved, but that AAA Investment Limited would remain responsible for all maintenance on the proposed access road. Also, the facade of the proposed buildings must be approved by the town. Crown Lands license to occupy. The committee discussed the proposal by Mr. Chad Porter for the zip line on the Exploits River. Future riverfront plans for both south and north sides of the river were also discussed. The committee recommends the town be applicant for the Crown Lands application for both sides of the river to control development and ensure the riverfront is developed correctly. Asset Management Committee. The committee discussed the importance to commence the asset management process and the importance of setting up an asset management committee. The committee recommends that the asset management committee be made up of the Director of Engineering and Works, Assistant Director of Engineering and Works, the Director of Finance and HR, the Accounting Clerk Asset Management, Chair of the Public Works Planning Committee, and another councillor. This committee should meet soon to discuss plans moving forward. 12 Union Street, Kevin Corbin. The committee reviewed a request from Mr. Kevin Corbin for the compensation for the damage caused to the sewer line at number 12 Union Street. Mr. Corbin struck the sewer line while excavating the property. There was only a demolition permit issued for the old house. There was never a building permit issued, nor an application received for 12 Union Street. The committee recommends that this request be denied because there was no authorization to start house construction. Lot grading. The committee discussed the proposal from the engineering department to have lot grades identified on the plot plan along the foundation grade. Furthermore, the developer must sign a lot grading document verifying the lot was constructed to the proposed grades. The committee recommends that this be approved and implemented retroactive to January 1st, 2018. This should ensure grades are constructed as proposed and help eliminate drainage issues that occur by improper lot grading. Naming of roadways and some concerns. The committee reviewed a request from Mr. Eldon Fudge to name the road that accesses 90A, B, and C Main Street. There are concerns about first responders not being able to find the road when needed. The committee recommends that this road be given the next name on the approved street name list, which is Chow. This street will now be named Chow Place. Insurance claim, Mr. Jeff Andrews. The committee was updated on the insurance claim for Mr. Jeff Andrews. The insurance company is still investigating, and a representative from the insurance company will correspond with Mr. Andrews when a final decision is made. The committee recommends that the town wait for the insurance company's decision. Correspondence with respect to street names. The committee reviewed correspondence from Mr. Aubrey Smith of 17 Park Street regarding street name selection. Mr. Smith disagrees with the process on how the town selects names for future streets. Mr. Smith also questioned and/or disagreed with the names that were previously approved. The committee recommends that the current system remain where all requests, along with their explanation or reasons, are reviewed and ranked by council. The approved list is a result of a weighted average from all of council. Caribou Road concerns. The committee reviewed correspondence from residents on Caribou Road concerning parking. Currently, there is no parking permitted on either side of the street, curbside. As the sidewalk and several intersections are on the west side, there was a concern for inadequate sight distance for vehicles. The committee recommends that staff reach out to residents on the street to get feedback on moving the no parking to the west side of the street, sidewalk side, and allow parking on the east side. Once feedback is received, it is to be back to committee for discussion. Crosswalk, Grenfell Heights. The committee discussed the lack of crosswalks along Grenfell Heights. There are no sidewalks outside the roundabout. However, there are wide paved shoulders for pedestrians. Some areas of concern are near Golden Years Estates and Grenfell Estates, and the intersection at Finn Avenue, Crowley Avenue, and Ireland Drive. The committee recommends that staff investigate and determine some possible areas for crosswalks and bring back to the committee for discussion. Requests for dealership license. The committee reviewed a request from Mr. Derek Stroud to sell used vehicles at his business at 8 Palmview Drive. This area is zoned as Industrial Light, IL, and auto sales are permitted in Commercial General, CG, and Commercial Highway zones only. The committee recommends that this request be denied as the area is not zoned for such use, and it would violate the town of Grand Falls-Windsor's development regulation. Mr. Stroud must sell in the appropriately rezoned areas only. Rezone request Ivanese Road, Dwyer Street. Committee reviewed information from the developer on their previous 5 rezoning requests. Corduroy developers had reached out to all 5 residents who opposed their rezone request originally as requested by the committee. Further discussion resulted in 2 now supporting the request, 1 still opposed, and the other 2 without further response. The developer requests the rezoning process to continue. The committee recommends that the rezoning process be permitted to continue to rezone number 1, number 2 Dwyer Street from single-unit urban residential to low and medium density multi-unit residential. And number 20, number 26, number 34 Ivanese Road from single-unit urban residential to 2-unit urban residential. Intersection at Palmview Drive and Tulit Drive. The committee discussed the site distance concerns at the intersection of Palmview Drive and Tulit Drive. There are restrictions in some areas due to tree line and rock outcrop. Also, the stop bar location is not ideal to provide maximum sight distance, and there were some warning signs that were stolen. The committee recommends that the Public Works Department remove trees, rocks to improve sight distance. In addition, the missing signs are to be replaced and the stop locations to be closer to Tulit Drive. These improvements should provide better conditions for motorists. The meeting adjourned at 8:30, and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Quite a set of minutes. It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Brown. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Finn. Any discussion on the Public Works and Planning minutes? Councillor Finn.
Just a comment on the improvements recommended by committee on Tulit Drive and Palmview Drive. When that change was initially made, council at that time had a fairly good discussion about what was needed there to make the intersection safe. And of course, because we knew the driving public are used to going all the way on Palmview Drive without interruption, and now the arterial was going to go through as the main flow of traffic. So we put all of the traffic standards that were put in place on that intersection were according to TAC standards in terms of Traffic Association of Canada standards, in terms of advance warning signs, stop bars, all the line painting. All of that was considered. These are some additional improvements. I'm totally pleased that council has taken extra steps to improve it, because there's obviously been some issues with accidents or near misses there, which is certainly was never council's intention. So I'm very pleased to see these changes, and encourage the residents in that area or anybody who encounters any issue to give feedback to council immediately if they feel that they see a near miss, because a near miss is the next step to an accident, right? So like that feedback's so important. So I appreciate the feedback from the residents who've raised this with us, and I'm hopeful that these changes, which are replacing some signs that were already in place, will mitigate or eliminate chances of accidents. So I just wanted to highlight that important work by the Public Works Committee.
And of course, we're going to trim back the brush as well on the corners there so that the views are a little better. Any other discussion, comment on the Public Works and Planning minutes? Councillor Whiffen.
I got a couple things there. First, regarding the house numbering on the streets, one of the things I didn't see noted here in the minutes was I did bring up the suggestion that we look at how we number some of the properties, where if we have a property that would be listed as A and B and are actually 2 separate dwellings, that we look at numbering one of those as a half, as is done in most other jurisdictions. Again, bringing up the safety concern that if you're looking for 42B, an ambulance would often look to 42 and look for the apartment, where in some case 42B may be actually the next house. So I did bring that up in the meeting. I didn't see it noted there. So I recommend that that's something we look at as a council in our house numberings. And I think we do that in some places and we don't do it in others. So I think that was just a note of clarity. The other thing is regarding the rezone request from Ivanese Road and Dwyer's Road to the duplexes. And I just think, for council or for future developments, that, and for realtors, that I think it's important that they start advising homeowners or property owners what the overall plan is for areas, because there's been several instances now where homeowners are investing money into their houses and their property, and then to find out that something new is happening or changing in the neighborhood, and that wasn't the neighborhood they expected to buy in. I think that if you're going to buy a home and invest that amount of money in your property, that the homeowner should be aware of what the full development is. The thing with some of these duplexes are, some of them are really, really nice homes, and I think there's a misconception of what a duplex is and what it can be. So I think that just needs to be better explained when people are buying their homes, so we don't come across this regularly, because it seems like it's coming up often, more often in all the new developments.
Councillor Finn.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to respond to or add to Councillor Whiffen's comments with respect to street numbering, he did raise that point in committee, and and it's probably not reflected in the minutes, because I took it to me more as a suggestion for a future topic of discussion. But it was a good suggestion in terms of change in numbering, and it does deserve some attention in a future meeting, like to formally have that discussion. So I support him in that. But it also leads me to think about some earlier work that Council decided, which was work that I think is being led by the fire chief in terms of the work around ensuring that houses are displaying their numbers. And I think that work was started I'll say more than a year ago, and it'd probably be worthwhile to get a report on how that's progressed. I think we were going to focus on some neighborhoods one at a time rather than approach the whole town. But again, it was a work in progress, and I think it's time Council get a report on that. And I only remember it because of the topic that he's raising. But it is important, talking about ambulances and police and so on, needing to find a house in an emergency and nothing's numbered. And it needs to be, and our regulations say that you have to be numbering. It's not new. We're just asking that it be enforced because it's so important. Okay.
Thanks for that. Any other comments? Debate? Anything else? No? Okay, we've got a mover and a seconder. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. We do have a resolution to deal with. Deputy Mayor Brown, if you could take care of that, please.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. This resolution is with respect to the revised capital investment plan. Whereas the town of Grand Falls-Windsor qualifies for funding under the provincial gas tax agreement, and whereas all spending under this agreement must be approved through submission of a gas tax capital investment plan, and whereas the town of Grand Falls-Windsor has a funding shortfall in project number 99-2016-5756 of $41,000 and has a funding surplus in projects number 99-2015-5279 of $405,958.78 and project number 99-2015-5280 of $444,741.41, and has added 3 new projects upgrades to the existing public works building requiring $350,000, paving Grenfell Heights from roundabout to Crowley Avenue requiring $122,000, and mill and pave Hardy Avenue from the intersection with Harris Avenue to the intersection with Browns Avenue requiring $337,665.48. Funds required for the project shortfall and addition of the new projects will be reallocated from the surplus in projects number 99-2015-5279 and 99-2015-5280, along with the annual gas tax funding, which the town qualifies under the gas tax agreement. Therefore, be it resolved that the gas tax capital investment plan be amended as follows. 1. Increase funding for project number 99-2016-5756 by $136,125.20 for a total allocation of $177,125.20. Number 2, decrease funding for project number 99-2015-5279 by $405,958.78 for a total allocation of $151,341.78. Number 3, decrease funding for project number 99-2015-5280 by $444,741.41 for a total allocation of $0. Allocate $350,000 to a new project supporting documents attached for upgrades to the existing Public Works building. Number 5, allocate $122,000 for a new project for paving Grenfell Heights from the roundabout to Crawley Avenue. And number 6, allocate $337,665.48 to a new project for milling and paving Hardy Avenue from the intersection with Harris Avenue to the intersection with Browns Avenue. And I propose this revised capital investment plan, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Brown. It's proposed by Deputy Mayor Brown. Looking for a seconder on that resolution. Councillor Bennett, any discussion on the resolution? I should mention, I guess, just to be a stickler, it's Brown Avenue, not Browns Avenue. So we'll make that small correction.
You think I know that?
Yeah. So we got a mover and a seconder. If there's Councillor Finn.
I just wanted to comment that this is just purely reallocation of funds just for the benefit of the public. There's no actually new spending. It's just moving money around within an existing program, is how it was explained to us. And but this formal process is just required because reading out this resolution is required to go with the application to the federal government, and that's what's required to meet their mandate. So it's a long, well, we appreciate Deputy Mayor going through it all for us. We all know that we could have covered it in 20 seconds or less, but it's a requirement by the federal government that we do it in a formal manner.
Any other discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Resolution carried. Okay. Finance and Administration, Councillor Cody Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. The Finance and Administration Committee met on Thursday, February 22nd at 5 o'clock. In attendance, myself as the chair, Councillor Darren Finn, Councillor Mark Whiffen, Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Sean Feener, Councillor Rod Bennett, and Deputy Mayor Mike Brown. Staff were Jeff Saunders, the Town Manager Clerk, and Barry Griffin, the Director of Finance and HR. The labor report. The committee reviewed the labor costs as of week 7. Total labor was $426,294, and this was $21,177, or 5% over budget. The committee recommends that staff continue to monitor labor costs. The committee also recommends that footnotes be provided explaining significant variances. The disbursement report. The committee reviewed the disbursement report in the amount of $946,414 and recommends it be presented at the next council meeting. Funding requests. The committee reviewed a request from Woodland Primary for funding for the Kids Eat Smart Grab and Go program. The committee recommends $200 be donated to the Kids Eat Smart program at Woodland Primary. The committee reviewed a request from Enactus, the College of the North Atlantic, for attendance at the Regional Expedition Business Case Competition, and the committee recommends that $500 be approved. The committee reviewed a request from Exploits Valley High School to provide financial support for the 2018 Provincial Student Leadership Conference. The committee recommends that we sponsor the speaker's performance fee at a cost of $2,530, and I just want to clarify, I believe that's half of the speaker's fee that we're sponsoring. That's not the full amount, that's half of the amount, yeah.
No, that's the speaker's fee, but it's not the travel associated with the speaker.
Right, it's half the total, right? That's what we
No.
agreed to.
No, you agreed to speak, the speaker's fee,
Yeah, I think
which is more.
Speaker's fee. The committee also recommended that a council representative bring greetings to the conference and be recognized as a sponsor. The committee reviewed a funding request from Exploits Valley High School regarding the Safe Grad 2018, and the committee recommended a $1,000 donation be approved, as in past years. Pension Plan Year-End Report. The committee reviewed the year-end report for the Defined Benefit and Contribution Plan. Balance for the Defined Contribution Plan as of December 31st, 2017 was $6,932,839. Total membership in the plan is 106. The Defined Benefit Plan balance as of December 31st, 2017 was $9,320,722. The committee recommends that staff review the investment asset mix for the Defined Benefit Plan for further discussion. Midwinter Biver budget. The committee reviewed the budget for the Midwinter Biver, and the committee recommends that it be accepted. The Food Day Canada event budget. The committee reviewed the Food Day Canada event budget, and the committee recommends that it be accepted. Taxation levy. The committee reviewed the taxation levy for 2018. The initial tax billing is $14,958,500 compared to a budget of $15,073,705. It is expected that the $115,205 shortfall will be made up through additional billings from development occurring during the year. Beothic Family Park taxation. The committee reviewed the taxation class for Beothic Family Park in relation to other campground operations. The committee recommends that campgrounds be assigned a mill rate of 0 for business tax. The committee also recommends we request the province provide direct access to the park from the Trans-Canada Highway. The town will review requested improvements to the road for capital discussions. Fire truck funding. The committee reviewed the funding allocation for a new 4-door pumper to replace aging equipment. The total cost of replacement is $440,000. The town's cost on a 70-30 basis is $132,000. The purchase of this equipment is not expected to be incurred until 2019. Our meeting adjourned at 8 p.m., and I move the recommendations and the report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Cody Davis, seconded by Deputy Mayor Brown. Any discussion on the Finance and Admin minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Committee of the Whole. Deputy Mayor Brown, you're up again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The minutes from the Committee of the Whole meeting from Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. We met at 6 p.m. President with myself as chair, Mayor Barry Emanuel, Councillor Rod Bennett, Councillor Mark Whiffen, Councillor Sean Feener, Councillor Darren Finn, Councillor Amy Cody Davis, and staff present included Jeff Saunders, our Town Manager Clerk, Nelson Chapman, our Director of Engineering and Works, Keith Antle, our Director of Parks and Recreation, and Barry Griffin, our Director of Finance and Human Resources. First order of business, Mr. Waiter, was the security for our town buildings. The committee discussed public access in municipal buildings. Measures are in place at some facilities, but not others. The committee recommends staff review municipal buildings to determine limits of public access, possible controls to be implemented, and report back to the committee. Hiring policy. The committee reviewed the hiring policy that was revised in May 2017. The importance of removing any bias as part of any hiring procedure was reiterated. The student hiring policy was also reviewed, and it was recommended that the minimum eligibility requirement to be modified to include grade 12 students who are accepted to attend a post-secondary education institution. This change will be communicated to the high school. Air Ambulance Aircraft. The committee discussed an invitation from the Air Ambulance Aircraft Committee, based in Gander, to go to a meeting scheduled in Gander on March 2nd, 2018. The purpose of the meeting is to give a presentation on supplemental medical air ambulance services. The committee supports this program and will have a member of council attend and report back to the committee. Central Health Review. The committee discussed the recently announced Central Health Review and will be issuing a media release later this week. Operation and Organizational Review. The committee discussed this review briefly and recommends a meeting be arranged to discuss this RFP only. Council Committee Structure. Councillor Whiffen suggested the Council Committee structure and meeting schedule be reviewed. The committee recommends Councillor Whiffen provide more details on the proposal, and it will be discussed at a future meeting. The YMCA. Councillor Bennett attended a YMCA board meeting. The town grant was discussed, as well as land for the daycare. The committee recommends that both of these issues be addressed by the appropriate committees. Salmon Festival. Councillor Feener provided some information on entertainment, and the committee recommends that this be followed up by staff and addressed at the next Salmon Festival Committee meeting. Meeting adjourned at 9:15 p.m., and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Brown, seconded by Councillor Finn. Any discussion on the Committee of the Whole minutes? Councillor Feener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to add to the Mayor Brown made during the Salmon Festival, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
We do have two final names that we're going to get together and discuss after this formal council meeting tonight. So we should have the Salmon Festival completely set up, ready to go. We should have an announcement made sometime in the next couple of days.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion on the Committee of the Whole minutes?
Just with respect to the hiring policy.
Deputy Mayor Brown.
I know
Yeah.
it'll be clear, but just we made a change to it. The student hiring policy only included post-secondary students. And some summers it's difficult to attain students at all. I know it's a couple of summers we couldn't find some at all. So we just changed the policy to include grade 12 graduating students who have been accepted into a post-secondary institution. So that'll open up the field to high school students and as well as university students for student employment with the town of Grand Falls-Windsor.
Yep. Thank you for pointing that out. Any further discussion on the Committee of the Whole minutes? Hearing none. We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Any notice of motion? Hearing none, we'll move into other business. And given that Councillor Finn wasn't here last time and he missed his turn to go first, we'll give him that opportunity again if he would like.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's awful kind of you. Mr. Mayor, I just have one issue that I want to raise tonight, and that's with respect to the review of the taxi regulations. Council, I believe back in December, adopted a resolution where we would undertake a review of the taxi regulations, and I believe that resolution said that the review would be done by the end of March. That was our council's intent. So I just wanted to remind council of that we should cover that in the next committee cycle, and also take this opportunity to invite the public and or the taxi companies themselves to, if they have any thoughts on anything that should be considered in council's deliberations on that they should put their requests or ideas in writing to council, and so that it becomes a part of our full discussion. I think it's something we could do certainly in the next committee cycle probably through the Finance Committee, I would suggest. But it doesn't matter which committee ultimately, so long as we undertake the review, and perhaps we could make the extra effort of even writing the taxi operators to let them know that we're doing the review, and to get your written input into us, so that everybody's ideas can be fairly considered. So that was the only thing I had, Mr. Mayor, that we need to take care of that piece of business.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Finn. Deputy Mayor Brown.
Just a couple of things, Mr. Mayor. I had a couple of calls last night during our rear snowfall for this winter. But if people had some issues with residents of Grand Falls-Windsor putting snow on the road, and what was happening to the same three residents, actually, when the plow went by, the snow that came out of their driveway, which was placed on the road, went in the neighbor's driveway. And so a right to complain. So I'd like to remind everybody, Mr. Mayor, that putting snow on the road is against the town bylaws. And just consider, I guess if you're going to do it, and some people do it anyway, obviously, unfortunately, but if you're going to do it, have a little bit of respect for your neighbor next door or across the street, and ensure that the snow you're putting there doesn't end up in your neighbor's driveway. That's about it for me, Mr. Mayor, tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Brown. I guess, that goes with any snow, winter-related issues. We hear a lot sometimes, everybody gets frustrated this time of year, especially when we get heavy snowfalls or ice or whatever the case may be. Nobody likes to go out and face snow up to their waist at the end of the driveway, or ice chunks, or whatever the case may be that sometimes is left. But overall, if people could just do their best to respect their neighbors, to do what they could to make sure that you're not doing anything to inconvenience them any more than is absolutely necessary when it comes to clearing snow and dealing with the winter conditions. Councillor Cody Davis.
Thank you. First off, I wanted to just remind residents that Thursday, March 8th is International Women's Day, and the theme this year is Press for Progress. The status of Women's Central is, again, as they do every year, hosting their annual International Women's Day dinner on Thursday. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend this year. I'm hosting an Exploits Joint Council meeting here in our boardroom, so I'm disappointed that I will miss that event, but certainly pass on my best wishes. It's always a wonderful, sold-out, packed Legion for that event, and a lot of women celebrating each other and what we do, and the progress that we make, and progress we've made this year especially, but also the work that still needs to be done. So again, the theme, Press for Progress, I would encourage all women to certainly celebrate yourselves on Thursday, as well as every other day of the year for that matter. I wanted to speak about the Exploits Regional Chamber of Commerce 19th Annual Business Excellence Awards and Hall of Fame induction, which happened last Thursday. I attended, as well as Councillor Whiffen, who did bring greetings on behalf of the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. Mayor Manuel was out of town attending meetings, and Mayor Brown unfortunately fell ill and was unable to attend. So, Councillor Whiffen, I don't know if that was your first formal speaking engagement as a councillor. We did a wonderful job, so congratulations to you in stepping in and filling in for the mayor and deputy mayor that evening. I wanted to highlight the Business Excellent Awards winners. The Small Business of the Year Award went to Kivik. The Helping Hands Award was awarded to the Bishops Falls Lions Club. The Ambassador Award went to the Botwood Mural Arts Society. The Customer Service Award went to GCR Tire. The Business Growth Award went to Merle's Parts and Recreation Limited. The Businesswoman of the Year was Deborah Dunn of Twin Town Manor. And the Personal Excellence Award went to Randy King of Sun Life King Financial. The Business of the Year Award was Exploits Home Hardware Building Center. And the Desmond Kenny Family Award went to Dykes Auto Sales. And the 2017 Hall of Fame inductees were Harrison Room Supply, Grey Bar Canada, Notre Dame Agencies, and P&T Auto Limited. And I wanted to just say that the guest speaker was Mr. Paul Griffin, who was the president and CEO of Marine Atlantic. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed his talk and his speech, his address to the people there about Marine Atlantic, about the service it provides, about the challenges that they faced last year with not so much equipment failures, because their equipment, there were very little instances last year of crossings being canceled because of mechanical failures. It was wind, which was very unlikely. A lot of weather-related cancellations this year, which was very different for them. But certainly very proud of the company and you know, the work that they've been able to achieve, the amount of people that they employ and the service that they provide. So I really enjoyed that, I must say. It was nice to see him there, and congratulations to the Chamber on a successful event, and of course to all of the nominees, and especially to the winners. I'll keep on my congratulations speeches here this evening. I attended the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee presentation by the Exploits Valley High School. And what a laugh, I gotta say. I don't know if anybody else here had the opportunity to see it, but it was hilarious. The whole Arts and Culture Center was in stitches. I heard rave reviews from the Friday night show, so I was really looking forward to the Saturday night show, and I was afraid it wasn't going to live up to expectations, but it certainly did. And I want to recognize the cast because they did such a phenomenal job. They embraced their characters fully, and I don't even know how they did it. Some of the characters, of how they had to act, some of the, I guess, musical numbers that they had to sing and perform was fantastic. They all did a wonderful job. So Alex Wolfrey, Stephen Cole, Josie Shepard, Nathan Whitehorn, Jesse Gowdy, Lauren Coffey, Shannon Ivey, Allison Luscombe, Max Snellgrove, Robin Horwood, and, oh my gosh, did I miss a page? They're stuck together. Bridget Whalen. I know Bridget was there because she was hilarious. She was a scene stealer, I think. She kind of steals the scenes of every production she's in. She's just such a fine performer, and she did a great job. So Bridget, and of course to the director and co-director Scott Sims and Don Olford. A wonderful job. Their first, I think, musical in 10 years. So I hope now they're off to a running start for an annual performance, because this one, if it's any indication of what's to come, they're off to a great start. So good job to them, and to those of you who missed it, you missed a great show because there were some empty seats, and it's unfortunate. And to all the sponsors as well, because everybody knows the expenses that go into producing a show like that, the rental fees for the Arts and Culture Center, set design, costumes, things like that. So great job to everyone involved. That was fantastic. I wanted to say welcome to Sarah Laddick. I think, is your second meeting, Sarah?
No, it's my first.
First? Okay. No, I met you somewhere. I can't remember where it was. I know we saw it at the Legion. All right, but welcome, your first meeting. And of course to Jordan Maloney, who's joining us as well this evening. And I want to give a shout out to Jordan, because I don't know if anybody else here is aware. I'm sure you probably are, because I think we did talk about it. But Jordan is a published author as well. He wrote a book, Stormbringer. And my child got it for Christmas. Jordan was nice enough to autograph it for him, for Isaac, because Isaac was a big fan back in Jordan's Magic days. So congratulations to Jordan on that. I brought the book to the cabin and started reading it and forgot to bring it home, so I can't wait to get back to the cabin to get the book so I can finish it. but it was very engaging, I must say. I'm about a quarter of the way through, I guess, so looking forward to being able to finish that off. The book is available on Amazon, and I'm sure if you contact Jordan through his Facebook page or email, he'll certainly hook you up with a copy as well.
I just got into Shoppers Drug Mart yesterday.
Oh, and Shoppers Drug Mart. Excellent. So you want to support a local author, Jordan Maloney. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Cody Davis. Councilor Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Violet and Onias Rolfe. On February 16th, 1953, they were married, so 65 years of marriage. And the town gave them a nice little folder that recognized their 65 years of marriage. The Midwinter Biver was this past weekend. I attended, and Councillor Whiffen and Councillor Feener also attended. It was an absolutely wonderful event. We had over 100 snowmobiles out on Saturday, and the dinner on Saturday night was sold out. Andrew Taylor is a resident of Grand Falls-Windsor. He's now presently at the Briar with Team Smith. I think they're 1 in 4, maybe 1 in 5 since we sat down, or 1 in 4 since we sat down, but they're having a great time, and I talked to Andrew before he left to go away. He said he's going away for a wonderful experience, and I'm sure he's going to have it. The Grand Falls-Windsor Blades and the Grand Falls-Windsor Cataracts. Thanks, guys, for so much hockey this winter, and it was absolutely a wonderful time, and I certainly hope we'll see both teams back next winter. And the last thing I have on my list is Saturday night. Don't forget to put your clocks ahead 1 hour, and we don't get an extra hour of daylight because it's still the same amount of hours. All right, thank you.
Don't forget to put hours ahead. It's the first time I've seen it working in 4.5 years, I think. Yeah. Councillor Feener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had 2 issues I want to bring up this evening. Well, the first one was I was also at the Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards, and I got to say it was really nice to see all the business owners there and to see their input and what they do to this great community we live in, and a real pat on the back. The second thing was the Midwinter Biver. I attended as much as humanly possible the weekend, and I got to say it was amazing to see the food, to see the people, to see the way that it was all set up. It was my first Biver that I attended, so great on them. They had a silent auction there, and he raised over $4,000, and that money would go to the trails, to upkeep the trails and maintenance and stuff. So I just want to give a little pat on the back. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Feener. Councillor Whiffen.
Points are already raised.
Okay. I got a few things there to go through. Some things were already brought up. Just want to mention that Dr. Hodder, Dr. Don Hodder, had a book release last week. I just wanted to publicly congratulate him on behalf of council. I know that evening we had a committee meeting here, and as a result, none of us were able to attend, unfortunately, but we certainly wish him the best, and congratulations on that. A very fun guy to talk to, and I look forward to reading his book. Also, the Midwinter Biver, I got to the meet and greet on Friday. I had another event on Saturday. But I just wanted to, echo the comments, congratulate staff. Again, this was an off year in terms of weather for us. The Biver had to be rescheduled. As a result, we lost some ticket sales. Then we picked some up on the way to what was still a successful event. So, when you have to, I guess, adjust because we don't have any or very little snow in the middle of February, which is what we're supposed to have lots of, sometimes it can be challenging, but our staff once again did a great job, and the people who I spoke to took part in the snowmobile run particularly, and the dinner said it was a first-class job and enjoyed it very much. Also, since our last meeting, we had our Winterlude 2018, and again, snow was a bit of a factor there. We had some events, the ski trail, for example, who had to cancel a lot of their events, but many of the events that weren't dependent on snow, lumberjack dinner, the breakfast at the Pentecostal Church Gymnasium, were all great events, well attended. I know we had a great day at Corduroy Pond there with the crowd showing up. And again, thanks to staff and thanks to the community for always coming out and supporting these things. It's one thing to be putting off events and programs for the community, but we need the participation. And I must say, Grand Falls-Windsor has shown great participation. And I will note that there's a lot of people who actually come in from out of town as well to take part in our events because, you know, they enjoy them. So good job to everybody on that. Also want to congratulate the chamber winners. As Councillor Cody Davis said, I was out of town, unable to attend, but certainly good job there, and congratulations to all those. And mentioning awards, you may have heard we've got our second annual Civic Awards coming up now on May the 16th at the Gordon Pinson Center for the Arts. And nomination deadline is Sunday, March the 11th. So this week is the last week to nominate. It's very easy to make nominations. You can go on our Town of Grand Falls-Windsor website. You can pick up a nomination form at the Town Hall and just a few simple questions and you're done. So let's make sure you, everybody, that person or group or organization, team, whatever that you know is deserving, please take the time to nominate them. We had 86 nominations for last year's awards, and we expect a similar response this year. And of course, this year, a little different is that everybody who makes a nomination gets their name entered to win a $100 gift card. So, you know, just a little extra incentive there to nominate. And if you nominate in 4 or 5 different categories, your name goes in 4 or 5 different times. So get your name in there for that $100 draw. And of course, last year it was a great time, and we look forward to organizing another winning event in 2018. The Kiwanis Music Festival also is coming up. I think it's the week of March 20th to the 24th. So everybody make sure you get out and enjoy what is always a great week, and we get to showcase the musical talent that exists here in central Newfoundland particularly, and we know the Kiwanis work hard each and every year, the organizing committee, to make that happen so the community can get out and enjoy that festival. I think it's in its 53rd year maybe, or 54th, somewhere around there. It's well over 50 years anyhow. Also want to mention in the news lately was a lot about Centennial Park. Now Shannon did it, Centennial Park, and we're going to be putting a new sign up there on the field. But I did want to point out there, at least from my perspective, because this has been discussed over the last few years a number of times, it's always been Shannon Park. You know, we got a monument up there that has reflected it as such. The town had spent some money in recent years to upgrade that monument, have a new plaque put there, new brick and that kind of stuff. So we're getting the sign put on the field, which would further recognize Shannon did it, and we're glad to be able to do that. I know there's a lot of communities these days that are looking to, I guess, recognize the Aboriginal history, and that's very important for us to do so. So we look forward to that sign being erected. Also, one thing that's very important is the 3rd annual Fill It Up with Food, which is going to start next week. We're going to promote the event this week. Of course, that's something that we've been doing for the last couple of years, where we ask people in the community to bring in a non-perishable food item and drop it into the town hall lobby. So that can start next Monday, which is March the 12th. We'll run it to the end of the month. And I do know, in talking to the different people who are involved with the food banks in town, because there are 2 ran here in town, that they are in need, I'll say very much so, for food. The shelves are like Mother Hubbard's cupboard, I think is what Jamie Anstey had said to me. So it's important, as Grand Falls-Windsor always does, to come out and support when we need. So you can drop those donations off while you come in to pay your taxes, maybe. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But we'll encourage everybody to fill it up with food, and we want to make sure that we get as much food as we can for the food bank, who help so much in our region. And I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to get into too much about Central Health, but we know there's a review coming up. I mentioned a great partnership that we have with Central Health, but just so that the citizens know that we have been very engaged in this issue. We've reached out and asked for a meeting with Minister Haggie We had hoped that was going to take place week before last. It was canceled last minute, but he promises to meet with us when the review begins. So we look forward to meeting with Minister Haggie. And also, we did write the board chair for Central Health, Mr. Don Sturge, outlining some of our concerns and some of the good things that are happening here in Grand Falls-Windsor. And as I said, we've got a strong relationship, and we want to continue that, and we want to ensure that this review leads to improvements in service in Grand Falls-Windsor and in other areas of Central Health, because we know we're doing a lot of great things here, and we want those to continue. And before we get into the final video, which I'd ask you to stay tuned for, which is a quality life video, I guess, for Grand Falls-Windsor, I'd like to thank Jeff Barry. Jeff is a one-man show here tonight, pardon the pun, and Jeff was here all afternoon, I know, testing equipment and trying to get things ready tonight. So, if you're looking for something to do and you'd like to be a volunteer, maybe Rogers Television would be something that you'd like to help out with. But thanks to Jeff and his efforts there today, certainly appreciate it as always. So with that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Finn, seconder. Councillor Cody Davis. All those in favor? Aye. Country mind? Motion carried. We'll see you next time. Here's the video.
I'm Gordon Pinsent, and welcome to the wonderful town of Grand Falls, Windsor.